Now, the trial of 5 men accused of the 2014 murder of Bafana Bafana star Senzo Meyiwa is expected to resume, with a neighbour likely to take the stand at the High Court in Pretoria this morning. Meyiwa was at the home of Gladness Khumalo, who is singer Kelly Khumalo's mother, when he was shot and killed. Now, let's cross to our reporter Chriselda Lewis, who's been on this beat for us, and to find out what the latest is. Chriselda, good morning. So last week, of course, we had another police officer in the form of Mthethwa taking the stand and being thoroughly cross-examined about the crime scene. And today, of course, we move on.
Well, that's right, Sakina, and a lot of scrutiny had been placed once again on the manner in which police had handled the crime scene. Much of what he came under fire for was, you recall, that Mthethwa had gone to the house and found an uncle, Neighbour Khumalo, who he says was the only person at the house at the time. And after briefly going inside the house, they then left and went to the hospital where Senzo Meyiwa was taken, and it was there where they understood that he was declared dead. So a lot of cross-examination about why police did not cordon off the scene at the very first instance. That then would have opened the door for contamination of the scene, or for anyone to enter the house after the murder had taken place. And certainly that is what the defense had been pointing to. Advocate Zandile Mshololo saying that that had opened the door for neighbours included. We heard quite a number of witness statements from some of the neighbours who indicate that gone inside the house, or what they saw there was some beer cans on the floor. One of the other neighbours, Maggie Peary, had cleaned up those beer bottles from the floor. And one of the other concerned neighbours asked her why she was doing that. She said she was doing it because she didn't want police to see that there were people drinking inside the house. So a lot of scrutiny, in fact, on both of the first and the second witnesses, Thabo Musia, who was the forensic detective, and of course Sergeant Mthethwa, who concluded his cross-examination, or concluded in cross-examination on Friday, certainly pointing to what looks to be shoddy workmanship that was done by police when it comes to the scene. And in terms of how they were supposed to conduct their duties, has really raised eyebrows. So this morning, you'd recall, after we adjourned on Friday for proceedings here this morning, we had understood that someone who was inside the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed was going to take the stand here this morning. Seems to be a change of plan again, Sakina. I have wind of the fact that there might be a neighbour who will take the stand this morning. One of the neighbours who might have heard or even seen what was taking place on that fateful day. What did he hear? Was there a scuffle? Were there screams? Did he hear the gunshots? And what did he do after that? I've always been very careful, Sakina, in the mentioning of these witnesses' names. On Friday, when we got the understanding that it was due to be someone who was inside the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed, we did not mention the name, and this was not erroneously. It was purposefully done on the basis that there have been quite a number of threats, we understand. That has been said in open court, threats that have been made against witnesses and other individuals, some legal representatives as well. So while we may possibly know the name of that witness who will take the stand, all I am prepared to say is that it's likely that it's due to be a neighbour who will testify about what he heard, what he had seen, and whether, of course, he had also participated in removing Senzo Meyiwa's body from inside the house into the car that was used to drive him to the hospital. So we're also expecting quite an interesting day this morning.
Chriselda, thanks so much. And of course, SABC News will be kept up to speed with those developments by our senior reporter there, Chriselda Lewis.